Alrighty, hello and welcome back into the channel. As you can tell from the background, I am back in college. This is my last semester of college, so this is my new background for a little bit. But today we're going to be going over what I'm looking for when deciding what to sell a covered call for. So we're going to jump into exactly what a covered call is, what you should look for when selling them, and any pitfalls or things to watch out for when you're selling covered calls. So this video is brought to you by M1 Finance. You can find that link down in the description below. When you sign up and deposit some money, you're going to get $30 of absolutely free money to start investing with. So you can find those links down in the description below. But with all that being said, let's just jump straight in the video and show you exactly what a covered call is and what to look for when you're selling covered calls. So I've been selling covered calls for about 2.5 months now, and so far I've made $243.94. So when I'm looking for a covered call, first off, you have to have 100 shares of that company to be able to sell a covered call. Now, what a covered call is it is an option for you to sell 100 shares of stock at a certain price. So you have 100 shares, you have the option to sell your 100 shares at a price that you set. Now the buyer is going to pay you a premium for the option to buy those 100 shares at that price. Now, if the price goes above it, then the buyer can buy those shares. If the price stays below what you set it at, then you keep those 100 shares and you keep the premium that you collected from the buyer. Now, a couple things to kind of look out for when you're going to sell a covered call. One, what I like to look for is a stock that's not moving a ton, meaning volatility wise, going up a crazy amount, going down a crazy amount. I like to look for stocks that are just kind of trading sideways, maybe going up a little bit. But the more sideways it is, the more likely you are to continue to collect those premiums without getting your shares called away. So I look for kind of just a sideways trading stock. Now, the second thing you want to look for is a delta on that covered call of below 30%. Now, what that means is you have a 30% chance of basically losing or getting your shares called away. You have a 70% chance of collecting that premium while also collecting and keeping your shares. Now, something that you want to do is you want to sell those covered calls on green days when the market is going up or when that stock is going up. That is when people are going to be paying more for those options, and so you're going to be able to collect more premium on those green days. Now, you can sell them on red days. It's just going to affect how much money you're making off of those premiums. Third thing is you want to always sell covered calls above your cost basis. That's going to make it to where no matter what, you're not going to lose money in that stock. So as long as you're selling them above your cost basis, you'll collect whatever percentage it was from where you bought it at to where that strike price is that you sold it at, plus the premiums. So always sell them above your cost basis. Now, something that I learned as well is if you're wanting to sell out of a stock, say you made a crazy amount of money on a stock, you made 100% on a stock, and you're wanting to take those profits and sell out of that stock. What I would do is I would sell covered calls on top of those. Instead of selling out of those shares, granted you have to have 100 shares of that company, but instead of just selling it completely out of it, I would sell covered calls at a strike price to where not only am I going to collect the premium on it, but if the strike price hits that price, I'm going to sell away my shares that originally I was wanting to sell, but I'm also going to collect more premium on top of that. So instead of just selling completely out of it, sell a covered call at a strike price where you think it might get called away to where you're going to collect the premium and you're going to sell your shares. So you're going to make even more money on top of that. Now, something that I learned pretty recently is if you have 100 shares of a company and you sold, we'll take for an example here. So I had Smile Direct Club, SDC. I had a strike price of $6.50. If it's above that, my shares are going to get called away. If it's below that strike price, I'm going to keep my shares plus the premium. Now, last week, Smile Direct Club, it ended the week at $6.70. And I could see that throughout Friday. It was trading above $6.50, and I wanted to keep those shares. I didn't think it was going to run that much, and it ran a crazy amount during that week. So I wanted to keep those shares. So what I did is I went into the option and I clicked roll. So you're going to roll that contract into the next week. Now what that means is you're going to buy back that contract and you're going to sell another one. So what I did was I bought back and then I sold another contract for the next week at a higher strike price. Now I was able to profit on that as well. So keep that in mind if you want to keep your shares, but you also want to sell those covered calls. Just do a roll over into the next contract. Now, covered call options, they always expire on Fridays, unless the market's closed on a Friday. So keep that in mind, and make sure that you're kind of watching if those are gonna get called away or if you're gonna keep those shares on Fridays. So those are a couple things to look out for when you're selling covered calls. Let's just jump into the computer and I'll show you a couple different things of what I look for when I'm selling covered calls, and going over exactly what it looks like when you're trying to decide which strike price to sell it at.
Okay, so as you can see here, we are in SDC, Smile Direct Club. Now my cost basis is $6.12 on SDC. So I don't want to be selling anything below $6. So the next one I would sell is $6.50. Now you can see that the current price is $6.16. So like I said, I would only sell a $6.50 one and above. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to sell anything below a 30% delta. So if you go down here, that's a $7.50 delta would be below 30%. Now coming over here, you can see that the open interest and the volume is best around the $7 and the $7.50 one. So those are the ones that I'll be looking at closely, but more than likely I'm going to stick to my guns at a $7.50 one. Now at that price, I'm going to be collecting 22 cents in premium per contract. Now you have to keep in mind that you can do this each and every week. So you can be collecting more and more premium each and every week that you do this. And you can either roll those over each and every week, or you can let them expire each week and then sell a new one each and every week. Now, as you can see here, it's down quite a bit today, so that's actually going to affect how much money you're collecting in premium. Now, if it was a green day, you're going to be able to collect more premium on those stocks and on those options. So taking a look here, I've made $243.94 in premium off of the shares and the options that I have sold. And I've only been doing it with 3 stocks: TTCF, SDC, Wish. And there in this graph, you can see the date that I sold it, the option, the amount of contracts, the premium that I collected, and then the date that it expired and the strike price that it expired at. Now I've been making a good amount on TTCF and SDC. Wish, on the other hand, I'm down on that stock, and that's why I haven't been able to collect as much premium. So I'm hoping that it does rebound and I'll be able to collect more and more premium over time. I'm not going to sell out of that stock because I do think that it's going to rebound here in the near future, but it's just been going through some bearish movement right now. But I've been collecting a good amount on SDC and TTCF. Now you can see here in July, I was able to collect $63 in premium on call options. And that was at the very end of July that I started doing this, on the very, very last week of July. So $63 in the last week of July. And then in August, I collected $117.18 in premium. And I sold a total of, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 options in the month of August for $117. And then in September so far, I've sold a total of 5 contracts for $63. So definitely good amount of money for the amount of options that I'm selling, and looking to get this up to a couple $100 a month from call options, just to bring in that extra income each and every month of totally passive income on top of share price appreciation, dividends, and all the other things that I'm collecting as well. So that's what I'm looking for, is to get that up to a couple $100 each and every month.
So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video of me going over what I look for when selling a covered call and exactly how to do it, what a covered call is, and everything about it. Now, if you guys have enjoyed the video, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel down below. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you guys are interested in any of those links, they'll be down in the description below. So if you guys do have any questions about any of it, make sure to leave them in the comments below, and I'll be happily answering any questions that I get. And if you have a certain topic or more questions about it, just leave them down there and I'll be happy to go over them and see if I can't make a video in the future about it. So like I said, hopefully you guys have enjoyed everything. I'll catch you guys next time.